All right, before we get started, make sure you download the free PDF guide in the description box below or right here. Pretty much just going to go over everything I'm talking about in this video, but it's a great resource if you need this information in the future so you don't have to go shuffling through videos to kind of find it. All right, so let's dig right in. And the first thing I want to talk about are net cups. Net cups are in a category all their own, and they're going to vary in size, so you have to make sure you get the right one for your garden, and that's what's going to hold your substrate. The substrate's what your plant is growing in. And I'm going to talk about two substrates in this video. I'm going to talk about hydroponic clay pebbles and rock wool cubes. First, let's talk about hydroponic clay pebbles and the applications for when you would use them. So very rarely do I find myself just planting in a net cup with hydroponic clay pebbles by themselves. And if I do, it's in a transplant situation from like a seedling. This is because clay pebbles can be a little trickier to work with. Although they're very porous, if you break one open, you'll see that they have a lot of air trapped inside, and clay is fantastic at absorbing water. They can be a little tricky for beginners. That's why I always recommend starting your plants in rock wool. So I guess now let's talk a little bit more about rock wool. These cubes are made up of fibrous minerals, and they are very, very spongy. You can plant your seeds directly in them, or you can transplant into them by breaking them open and putting them back together. I really like rock wool, and I think it's a great median for your hydroponic garden. And together you can use rock wool, your hydroponic expanded clay pebbles, and your net cups to really optimize your grow setup. Let me explain how. So you start your plant in your rock wool until you can start to see the roots coming through, and then transplant it into the net cup. Rock wool, unfortunately, happens to be a really great surface for algae to grow on. What I like to do is tuck it down into the net cup and then use the expanded hydroponic clay pebbles around and on top of the rock wool to protect it from sunlight so that you don't get any algae growth on top of your rock wool. And that's a great way to just make use of all your grow medians. One thing I definitely want to note is that this video is for my Hydroponics 101 playlist, where I'm going to have a ton of short videos about very condensed information. And one of those videos is going to be about how to start your plants in rock wool. So make sure you check out this playlist, and hopefully you can find some information over there that helps you out. So the last thing I want to talk about is also going to be in a category all on its own, and that is a plant collar or a cloning cuff. I found myself using a lot of these whenever I was transplanting into hydroponic gardens, tower gardens, or I was playing around with fogponics because I needed something that was going to seal the hole but still allow my plant to grow through. So the way these foam collars work is they fit perfectly into your garden, and the plant just grows right in the middle there, and because they're foam and they have these little areas made for expansion, your plant can grow inside of this collar and your roots are just suspended directly into your garden. This is great if you're transplanting. These are really the only thing I would recommend if you're transplanting something that's a little too large for your net cup. These are also really great for cloning because you can just take your clipping and put it right in the middle and then put it into your cloner, which happens to be fogponic. And these are also really great if you're messing around with fogponics, which I did for a while, and they kept the fog from leaking out of the garden. They're really the only way to go if you're doing fogponics. So those are your grow medians. I hope this video helped you out. I hope the guide helps you out. If you have any questions, head over to humblegrowthhydroponics.com. I have a forum over there, and that's where I'll be answering questions as well as posting newsletters. And I have all the guides listed over there as well. So let's keep growing together, guys.